Starting a business in Japan might seem like a complicated process, but what if I told you it's actually easier than you think? If you are an entrepreneur, a startup founder, or someone looking to expand your business into Japan, then you're in the right place. Today, we'll be going through everything you need to know about setting up an LLC, also known in Japan as a Godo Kaisha, or GK. Hey there, I'm Heiken, and welcome to the SmartStart Japan's YouTube channel. Here, we'll break down everything about starting and growing a business in Japan so you can confidently navigate the process and make your entrepreneurial dreams in Japan a reality. Here's what we will be covering in this video. What is an LLC? What's the difference between a Japanese LLC and a Western or American LLC? Who should consider an LLC in Japan? What are the requirements, setup process, and costs for setting up an LLC here in Japan? And how us, SmartStart Japan, can help you make that process as smooth as possible.
Now, let me introduce our team. First, we have our co-founder, Tae-Jin Yoon. Born and raised in Japan, TJ brings years of experience in investment advisory and international relations. Fluent in both English and Japanese, he has guided over 25 companies and successfully managed 40 subsidy and loan applications in Japan. Tae-Jin is your go-to expert for navigating the complex setup requirements here in Japan. Next, we have Tyson Bettino, our co-founder who specializes in revenue growth and advisory services. And finally, here's me, Heiken, the marketing manager and the content creator here at SmartStart Japan. I'm dedicated to bringing you insights on how to successfully launch your business in Japan.
So, what's the equivalent of an LLC in Japan? Well, it's called Godo Kaisha, or GK for short. If you're familiar with LLCs in the US or any other Western countries, a GK operates in a similar way, but with some key differences. It was introduced back in 2006 as a way to give entrepreneurs and small business owners a more accessible and alternative to the traditional Kabushiki Kaisha or KK, which is Japan's equivalent of a corporation. And just like a Western LLC, a GK protects its owners, members, from their personal liability. That means that your personal assets are separate from the company's liabilities. It is also more flexible compared to a Kabushiki Kaisha in Japan, which has more formalities and more administrative burdens and higher costs to set up compared to a GK LLC in Japan. Now that we have understand what a Japanese LLC, also known as a Godo Kaisha, is, let's talk about how it compares to Western LLC, like those in the US or other Western countries. In general, since the Japanese GK was modeled after the American LLC, they share many similarities. Both offer limited liability, a more simpler structure compared to the traditional corporation, and flexibility in its management. However, there are some key differences that you'll need to know. First will be taxation. Unlike an American LLC, a Japanese GK does not have the option for pass-through taxation. In the US, LLCs can choose to have their profits taxed directly to their members, avoiding double taxation. However, in Japan, all GK profits are taxed at the corporate level before being distributed to members, which can impact your overall tax strategy. The second is investment contributions. Another important difference is the way how investment contribution works. In the US, an LLC can accept contributions in many forms: cash, physical assets, and even services or expertise. But in Japan, a GK does not allow services-based contribution, also known as yakumu shushi. Investment must be in the form of cash or tangible assets like real estate, equipment, or securities. Let's also talk about who should be considering setting up a LLC or GK in Japan. A Godo Kaisha would be an excellent choice for several types of entrepreneurs, so if you fall into one of these categories, a GK would be the right business structure for you. First will be aspiring entrepreneurs who are already living in Japan or planning to live in Japan. So if you are already in Japan and you won't need an extra visa for your business, setting up a GK or LLC is straightforward and cost-effective way to start your business. Many foreigners living in Japan, including freelancers and consultants, choose a GK because it offers the liability protection while being very easy to set up compared to a Kabushiki Kaisha. Second, startups looking to enter Japan quickly. So if you are a foreign startups or businesses looking to establish a presence in Japan fast, then the LLC or GK structure is a good option for you. This is because the setup process for GK is less complex compared to the KK or the corporation, making it more the preferred choice for international entrepreneurs who wants to get started right away. Third will be those who are looking for more flexibility and cost savings for their incorporation. So if you want a business structure with low costs and fewer administrative requirements, then the GK is the way to go. Not only does a GK have a lower initial setup cost compared to KK, It also has fewer ongoing compliance requirements, like you won't need to have a annual shareholders meeting compared to like the KK, where you would need to have an annual meeting with your shareholders. Meaning that, well, with a GK, you can focus more on your growing your business, handling all the extra paperwork, taking away resources from you and your staff. If you want to know more about GKs in general, we have a video that talks specifically about Godo Kaisha in Japan and how do you set it up. So you can go check that video out. We also have another video going in depth into Kabushiki Kaisha, how to set it up, and what type of companies would be suitable for a Kabushiki Kaisha. You can check both of these videos in the description down below or in the video card showing up here. If you would like some first-hand guidance on which structure to choose, or if you would like to discuss your market entry plan to Japan with us first, you can book a free 30-minute consultation with us at smartstartjapan.com, where we'll guide you through the best option for your business. Now that we have discussed who would be suitable for a LLC in Japan, let's walk through the step-by-step process of setting up an LLC in Japan as well. It's relatively straightforward compared to a KK, but there are still a few key steps you need to follow carefully. Note that these are just the 5 major steps in creating your LLC in Japan. There are more steps than what is being shown, but these are the most important ones. So let's get started. Step 1 is to decide on your company details. That means you have to decide on your company name, business purposes, registered office address, and capital structure. These details will be included in your articles of incorporation, so it's important to get them right from the start and decide on them right now rather than later. Step 2 is to create a corporate seal or hanko. In Japan, companies are legally required to have a corporate seal, also known as a hanko. This stamp serves as the official signature of your business and will be used for signing contracts, submitting documents, and handling official transactions. You will need to create this seal before moving forward with registration. Step 3 is to draft your articles of incorporation. The articles of incorporation is one of the most important documents in the registration process. It basically outlines the internal rules for your business, including management structure, ownership details, and operational guidelines. Once finalized, this document must be notarized, submitted, and for approval. Step 4 is to deposit your capital. So basically, before registering for your LLC, you need to deposit the initial capital into the founder's personal bank account. Why not the corporate bank account? Because a company bank account cannot be opened until your business is officially registered. Once the LLC is set up, the funds can be transferred to the company's new bank account. Finally, you will submit your registration documents. You will take all the documents that you have prepared and submit them to the registration Legal Affairs Bureau for official registration. So some of the documents include your notarized articles of incorporation, company details and management structure, your proof of capital deposit, as well as your corporate seal registration. Once you have your documents submitted, it usually takes around 1 to 2 weeks for your company to be officially registered. That was a very condensed version of what we have discussed in our GK in Japan video. So for a more in-depth look at each steps and what kind of stuff you will need to pay attention to, you can check out our video on Godo Kaisha in Japan. Now let's also talk about the cost of setting up a Godo Kaisha in Japan, or LLC. While a GK is more affordable compared to a KK, there are still some fees involved in the process. So here's what you need to budget for. First is your registration license tax. This is the biggest mandatory cost in your registration process. The fee is around 60,000 yen, or 0.7% of your company's capital, whichever one is higher. This is paid to the Legal Affairs Bureau and forms the core cost of registering your business. Second is your stamp duty. There are also stamp duty free of 40,000 yen, which must be paid to the Legal Affairs Bureau as part of the incorporation process. However, there are still some good news. So if you apply through SmartStart Japan, we can waive this stamp duty fee for you, helping you save even more on the cost. And I have another good news. Unlike a Kabushiki Kaisha or a traditional corporation, a GK does not require notarization of the articles of incorporation. That means that you will save an additional 50,000 yen compared to setting up a KK in Japan. This makes GK a even more affordable and streamlined options for people who want to come to Japan without breaking the bank to create a company. Fourth is the post-incorporation costs. Once your GK is registered, you also need to account for your post-incorporation costs, which typically amounts to around 100,000 yen. These expenses are opening a corporate bank account. You have to file notifications with various government offices, especially if you have any employees, and other administrative costs that are needed to start your business operations in Japan. For those who are coming from overseas, this incorporation process does not include the visa application costs, which would add to your overall cost if you wish to enter Japan and live in Japan to manage your LLC here. Finally, let's clear up some of the most common misconceptions or frequently asked questions about setting up an LLC in Japan. First question is whether an LLC is only for small businesses. Well, that's not the case at all. While LLCs are great for startups and small businesses, many large international corporations use the LLC structure for their Japanese operations because of its simplicity and flexibility. And if your business grows and you need to raise additional funds, an LLC can always be converted into a more traditional kabushiki kaisha, where you can raise funds through attracting stocks later. Second question, do you need a Japanese partner to start an LLC? No, absolutely you do not. Foreign entrepreneurs can start an LLC independently as long as they meet the necessary legal and visa requirements. You do not need a Japanese co-founder or a partner to register for a GK or LLC in Japan. In fact, if you would like to set up a new branch office in Japan, you can do that even outside of Japan. Not only that, you will also be eligible for the subsidies and grants that the Japanese government provide as well. If you would like to know more about how to set up a branch office in Japan, check out this video in the video cards or in the description down below. Third question is whether a foreign entrepreneur can start an LLC while living outside of Japan. The answer would be yes, but there are some conditions. If you're a foreign entrepreneur residing outside Japan, you can establish your LLC in Japan, but you need to have a registered address in Japan for your company, and you'll possibly need a business manager visa as well, regardless of whether you plan to live in Japan or not, since there will be cases where you will need to come to Japan for your business. And when you do, your temporary stay or your tourist visa will not give you the right to represent your business within Japan. Finally, do you need to publish financial statements for your LLC? No. Unlike a kabushiki kaisha, KK, an LLC is not required to publish financial statements. That means that you will have even less administrative burden and more privacy for your business finances. And that's everything. We hope you have learned something about LLC through watching our video, and we have answered some of the questions you have before watching this. While starting an LLC in Japan involves a lot of steps, paperwork, and a lot of Japanese requirements, you don't have to handle any of these alone. Our SmartStart incorporation services specialize in helping foreign entrepreneurs like you to seamlessly set up and grow your business in Japan. So whether you're a local entrepreneur or an international startup, our team provides expert guidance every step of the way. So why choose us? Well, we handle your incorporation, taxes, labor, welfare documents. We will make sure everything is submitted correctly and on time so you can focus on growing your business. And for those who need a business manager visa, we've got that covered as well. We'll help you with your visa application, and we'll even help you bring your family over should you need it. For more successful stories on how we have helped our clients to incorporate in Japan, visit smartstartjapan.com for more information, and you can book your 30-minute free consultation today at smartstartjapan.com. And thank you for watching. And if you're not sure about what business to start in Japan, check out this video on the 4 business ideas to start in Japan in 2025 in the video cards on the screen or in the description down below.